Sweet, we are live. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Give me a shout on the comments. I see people's already getting on here. Hello, hello, hello from Abnormal Outdoors on YouTube. Waiting on a couple more people to get up on here. Trapper Dan, how you doing, brother? How you doing, man? Good to see you, man. John Frisbee's on there. Yep. Frontier Survival. Hey, man. Guys, just give me a shout. That way I know who's on there. I think it's going to be a pretty good broadcast tonight. Stuff happens out in the world that makes me stir up these questions that I'm looking for. And you know how I don't like to talk about news and what's going on in the world on my channel, but you know what's happening overseas and people are scrambling to get out of there. And I thought it would be a good discussion because they're trying to board these planes and they're getting out of there. And that's what brought it up for tonight's discussion was, you know, we all carry our haversacks and our backup game and stuff like that. Okay. Hey, Hug, say, hey, Cody. Hey, Henry. Sorry, I got distracted. But it made me think that, you know, we all talk about EDC, everyday carry. And, you know, and I carry a ton of stuff with me. That's part being a mechanic, part being too lazy to walk back to the garage because I need to tighten something up. But so that's why I want to discuss this. And on that, these people are trying to get out of their own country. And they probably can't get back to their own house. And so that you see most of them, what they got on. And so, you know, how much do I carry? How much do you guys carry? That was the whole discussion tonight. John Frisbee, EDC impact, such as Wazoo belt full of gear. You know, these guys got caught basically with their pants down. They can't get back to the house. You know, they're trying to escape. And I thought to myself, you know, do I have enough? And we'll go over the contents of that, but how important is your everyday carry? And this is the stuff, guys, I carry every day with me. And, you know, I don't work like I used to. So one knife I could not carry at work, but the other knives I could. And it was still in question if I was legally carried. They knew I was a knife nut and they left me alone about it. And we really pushed the issue because of size of the knife. There's no knife laws in Ohio on size or how many you can carry or whatever. So, and that's why I put on discussion, and we're going to talk about, you know, your state laws are different from my state laws. So we're all going to go different on this. Now, with that said, we're going to talk about firearms. And firearms on this, you know, we'll talk about firearms, and I'll show you the one I carry every day. But we're not going to get in depth in the firearm conversation. We'll try not to anyway, because I think there's a lot of ground to cover. Everything I carry is, you could probably do an hour discussion on each item, you know, and there's so many, even though they're the same item, like the multi-tool, there's hundreds of variants to the multi-tool. And what I prefer is what different than what you prefer. So we're going to try to keep all this, you know, trying to get through it. I guess what I'm trying to say. So that's what started up the conversation is do you have enough? You can't get to your truck. You can't, you know, I mean, now you're on foot. I got to go, you know, and it's kind of crazy on that, you know. I got over 300 knives, depending on what I want to carry that day. Exactly. And that's why I can't go, hey, this is the knife you use for EDC. This is proverbially getting caught with your pants down. You know, you understand my point. That's kind of the scenario we're talking about, not just it is, you know, you've got to go. You've got to get out where you're at and do it survival. And most of this stuff's got to be small, guys. And I was really going over my kit today, everything I carried, and it's very hard to carry any emergency gear with you. Now I know there's guys out here that do this, and they're right here on this channel. That they carry it because of their work. They carry it every day, but the average person doesn't carry a medical kit with him, and that's something I think we really got to. That was the pinpoint of the EDC. So I want to go over my kit really quick with you guys. Now remember what I'm saying. The knives I carry are not, stuck in gold. You carry what you want. I don't like carrying a folder. I like carrying a sheath knife, but I carry folders with me. So it's kind of crazy. Hey, Dark Knight, man. How you doing, brother? So the first thing I just want to go over with you is my belt and my knife. If I was working a full-time job, this knife's not legal. This is the Lutz Skinner I carry every day. The sheath was done by my brother, Lutz's Leathercraft. I also carry his ferro rod. Now with this, when I walk around Walmart and stuff, I get a lot of looks with this. They don't know what it is. Most of the people who do ask me, when I pull the knife out, oh, it's not a tactical knife. It's like, oh, well, what kind of knife is that? They're expecting some kind of tactical fighting knife or something like that. So they see that. I know Trapper Dan, who's on there, really, really high tech. I mean, he does good. I understand about his tourniquets, but I don't carry a tourniquet with what I have on. It's in my bag, and if I get caught without my bag. So a long time ago, I had this belt made by Randy Stitch Gear Outfitters, and you notice that I can run it as a tourniquet. Now, there's some controversy on that. Is it the best tourniquet? No. Will it do? I can make it do. I can take his ferro rod out, lay it across the artery, crank his belt down. If that's all you got to make do. Would I prefer the new tourniquet? Absolutely, I would. But this is the only piece of medical gear I carry. And I was kind of really, wow, man, set back by that. And this would be a very important one to stop blood loss. So, and so no, it's not excessive wear on the blade. It's actually designed. It's called Lutz Skinner. You can look it up on my YouTube channel. But I'm taking this back. This belt was not built by Stitch Gear Outfitter. My other one was. This was actually built by my brother, Lutz's Leathercraft. But you can see all the holes I put in there. And there's other reasons I use that. But that's the mainly for it. And so that I've really got to work. Thanks, Dark Knight. I'm reading your comments as I'm trying to do. But I was kind of astounded. I don't carry no Band-Aids. I don't carry anything small. Now, in my truck, I've been building a really nice med kit. Just went down to Waypoint Survival School. We were actually learning how to suture down there. It was great, man. I never did that. And it's kind of funny because I sew up hides, for trapping. You cut a hole or a bullet hole. I sew them up. And that was a good course for me. I learned a lot, about sewing. So, but that's what we're going to work on. I mean, I really broke down my kit and looked and see where the weaknesses of my kit is. This is my skinning knife. It's not a bushcraft knife. This is my meat preparation knife. So that's my belt carry right there. And that's what I wear every day. And I know you guys are different on this and stuff like that. I carry this pouch with me. That's the Lutz retrieval tool. I haven't showed anybody yet. There's a few guys out there. This will be coming out soon, but I carry that pouch with me. That's another leather pouch made by Lutz's Leathercraft. My brother does a good job. For me, as a flashlight, and I know we can go over this, and I'm going to go through my kit kind of quick, guys. So this is a PowerTech flashlight. I've carried it for years. It's 950 lumens. That's also a glass breaker on the end. But I believe this is one of the best tactical weapons you can run because nobody ever questions me. I have it on in a bank, nowhere. This thing can strobe it, wreck their forehead, they're down. Plus, it's a light. It's a signaling device if I'm in trouble. I know there's a ton out there. I just know the guy who sells these. These are wonderful lights. If you look them up on YouTube, they shoot it with a 12-gauge shotgun. It don't break the lens or nothing. But it's a pricey little light. It's about $90. I paid about $90 for this probably about 8 years ago. That's how long I've carried this light. So that's the PowerTech flashlight. I think we should all carry one of them. You can see, looks like a regular knife. This is my multi-tool, guys. And this is made by Victorinox. You can kind of see this thing's been around the block. I've had this for probably over 10 years. It's been on the trap line with me. In fact, if you really want to get crazy with it, find my camera, you can see the cutters from cutting number 9 wire. It's not good on them, but it'll still cut a quarter. This thing will cut a quarter like butter. But I just prefer this Victorinox. I've had it a long time. My buddy had one longer than that. And I have trashed this thing, man. And so I'm really happy with it. I'm not trying to recommend anything. This is just what I carry, guys. And there's a lot of different reasons. I prefer this tool. I've had other tools, and I've even had SOGs and stuff like that, and didn't like them as good as this Victorinox. So that's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm going to go through my kit pretty quick. Everything I carry every day, and I just replaced this. Yeah, everybody knows what that is. I actually lost it, and I couldn't find it. My daughter got me this for Christmas. So I forget which one. This is called not the Huntsman, the other one. I forget, but you know, it's the officer knife or the Swiss Army knife. I use this because I love the scissors in it. I think out in the field, you know, because I work construction, I was always gone. You're always messing with concrete, you know, and rough gear. You break a fingernail at work, but these scissors on this thing were great for trimming your fingernails. You know, especially got the hangnail. I've used that so many times, man. For, you know, you break a fingernail in a concrete pot, you're working, it's just miserable. You need to trim it off. So, you know, we all know that. There's plenty of videos on this knife, but I do carry this every day. Why do I carry a fob on it? Number one, it's a bow drill. Number two, it's orange because I lost the other one, had green on it. So this has, you know, the tweezers and the toothpick and stuff like that. I want to change that out to a ferro rod. Gives me a backup. I know I want to go through this, guys, quick because everybody carries something different. Now, the knife I do carry every day, and I've carried this knife since 2009. It was gifted by my daughter for my Christmas. It's actually engraved with my cereal with my name and the year it was what she gave it to me for. I think these are probably one of the most underrated knives on the planet. It's not a flipper. It's not a clip fit. You can tell. Yes, it looks bad. A lot of that is the blood off my finger that really tarnished the knife. I know it sounds crazy. You can tell I use this thing for everything. These things will go razor stupid, cherry sharp. I do need to clean it up. But I have did deer, coons, you name it. I skin it, cut up apples. I use this in construction to cut all kinds of stuff, mule tape. I actually, during my rappelling days, they bring a machine in and they drop the lanyard and show how the lanyard expands to slow you down on a fall. Because we have a ton of climbing classes because I was in construction. We're climbing on bridges and self-rescue and all that stuff. And it was amazing. After we test the lanyard, you know, they're junk. They want to cut them in half or nobody will reuse them. And I cut it in half with this open nail. And that guy says, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've never seen nothing cut that lanyard as easy as open nail. He goes, where'd you get them at? I think this knife was $19. This is a 10. So, you know, it also carbon steel. It will spark. You can actually, if you look really good, my ridges of doing flint and steel on the back, beats the knife up. I made that ugly sheath. I don't know if you can tell, it's been carried just a little bit. It's been carried since 09. I carry my wallet. My wallet in there has, from a James Bender little trick in there. And it's, I'm carrying a guitar pick. Number one, I do play. But it's also a fire resource. If you watch that, it's a fire trick nobody knows. And that's a pretty good video, pretty good trick. But I do carry that. I should carry more, like a better survival card, but I don't. And I'll get to you guys' comments. Guys, a lot of times, because I wear cargo shorts and cargo pants, I do carry a full-size ferro rod. I get these at Waypoint Survival too. I don't use my knife anymore on ferro rods. Man, this thing just does way better than any knife could do. It's just carbon. It's actually will sharpen your knife. It's carbide. And you can run it down the edge of your knife and sharpen it. So it gives me a second chance This is the Bigfoot Bushcraft ferro rod. I've been trying. I went through a weekend of school, and you can kind of see, man, I put the hurt on it, and everybody was using it. That was down there at James Bender's. Okay, so we all know what that is. Two more items, we're done with me. The other thing is, see that? Everybody sees what that is. It says Ruger right on it. This is it's my I know what it is, LCP2 380. I got shorts on and stuff. I just love carrying compact. Nobody really knows and sees it. It's about as much as I want to talk about guns, because guns can be, even knives can be so wide range what we're talking about. And then the last thing I carry is kind of obvious. More paracord. It's my key set. I do put a trapper tag on my keys in case they're lost, but I do carry that. Now everybody knows that. That is a napping device. I can do a beer bottle, cut an arrowhead, whatever, make me a small knife out of it, whatever. I really don't use that. I use a fob where it hangs in my pocket like that. Easy to take it out when you're sitting down. The downside of this, it can grab brushes if you're running through the brush and pull it out of your pocket. But with enough keys on there, it holds in good. But the third thing I like about this, it's another self-defense weapon that nobody can won't really bother you about. You know, I get a lot of asks, is that deer bone? Yeah, it's cool. And, you know, but it is a self-defense weapon. So that's my list, guys. That's what I carry. I take it back. I carry a Swiss Army. I thought I was done. This here, I carry a cross. That's a nail for the cross. This is a Swiss Army knife sharpener. Forgot to take it off. You guys can see it. I don't ever take that off. It's been in every shower, through surgeries and everything. I had to take it off surgeries because of metal. And then I carry the Wazoo fire kit. You guys can see that. This cordage comes off, and you can help accelerate a fire with that. It's got fire cord in it. So that's my kit, guys. So I've covered the fire. Oh, I did miss one, didn't I? Yeah. Ta-da. And my cigarette lighter. And you guys, if you watch my channel at all, you can see me, the fire trick, the big lighter hack is what it's called. I took the sticky off. That's how I found it. I was actually wrapping up duct tape on this lighter. I like these lighters and duct tape pretty heavy. There's a string on there. I can hang it, you know, but heavy, it stays in your pocket. It's easier to find, and it's hard to come out if you fell down or something. But it's also got another guitar pick wrap in there. That's a James Bender deal, you know. And so, hey, it's instant flame, right? Works good. So, guys, I know that. That's what I carry every day. Is it enough? Yeah, I don't. After I really thought about this, I don't think so. And I'm going to get to your comments here in a second, because it's not carrying a medical kit. You know, I need somehow how to mount the medical kit where I carry it on my belt every day. I mean, right now I call this my Batman utility belt as it is. Everything I carry every day. Even my wife rolls her eyes out, because if I'm going outside, I've got to put my belt and gear on. You know, just run up to Walmart or run up to the gas station, get gas. I don't go up there without my gear. That's my bare necessity. Is it enough? That's what tonight's discussion's about, for you guys to help me and see where my links are, my weak links are, and possibly your links, and see how we can build this together. So I want to jump back up there. It says, I'm going to PM you, see about sending you a medical kit that's nice and compact for your belt. Feel free to review it. Company that makes it sweet. Appreciate that, man, because we got to talk about this, guys. We got to get this info out. The boys carry a haversack. My small purse holds a lot. You're right, Pam. Had that same model bought it for $100. Left it on truck. Oh man, that sucks. My buddy lost his in a wiper motor we was working on, and he bought another one. And then like a year later, that wiper motor went bad again. He opened the hood, and there it was. So he's got two now. Yeah, they're about $100. They're expensive, but they're worth it. Needs flits to get that blood off. No, Pam, it looks good. Thinking same thing, Pam. My knives get used a lot, guys. I do clean them. They're actually clean. That one's got, I don't know what got on it, but I was using it, and, you know, I just clean them up when I do. I don't mind the patina on them because it helps keep them rust. Todd Gibson, how you doing, brother? Lutz's Leathercraft, I got a new sheath coming out down for that number 10. Yes, my brother does have a sheath coming out for the number 10 Open L if you guys are interested. Tom Ritter, hey, man. So I'm catching up to you guys. The medical kit is where I think is going to be, how do we make a medical kit small enough? And I know the guys are running ankle kits and stuff like that. Man, I can't hardly put on my shoes. How am I going to put on an ankle medical kit every day? Plus, I make it a rule since I'm retired, I don't wear pants until snow flies. So, and Todd, yeah, he says, you have a vehicle. Well, I do. And here's my haversack, and the cat's in there. And thanks to Trapper Dan, I've got enough enough cat systems in here to work. But if you looked at the news, how many people did you see running with a backpack? How many people seen running with a haversack? They were gone. They fled. They gone. They got trouble breathing down their neck. They couldn't get, maybe they was at work. We out of here. That was my discuss. That made me think, because maybe I can't get to my truck. Maybe I got to go. I got to flee now. In my truck, Lewis said, do you carry drinking water? I always carry at least 16 ounces of water out and no longer bring, if I any longer bring another liter. Well, Lewis, in my truck, I do carry water with me all the time because I carry my dog with me. I usually have 7 or 8 quart bottles in my truck at all times. I let it freeze in there. I don't care. It's still drinkable. It gives me time to do that. But it was, how do I carry a survival straw on my person? And that's another question. Lewis, great topic, man. How do we compact this to make it a good piece of good quality gear, but small enough where it's not going to be cumbersome to carry every day? I mean, I carry enough stuff now. So something to do. Hey, William, Trapper Dan said the ankle kit would probably fold up and put in short cargo pockets, no problem. We're going to have to explore that, Trapper Dan. We're going to have to look at that to see if we can, because I know your kit's right, brother. I know it's right. I mean, he's the one that's teaching me, guys. He was on this live show. You can go back and look at it on Facebook. He knows his stuff. But we've got to, I hate the mini kits, but I love the mini kits. I love the mini kits because they're compact. You forget about they're in your pocket. So a lot of Trapper Dan says a lot of available tourniquet pouches for your belt, and that's what I'm going to have to look at. We're going to have to start looking, and that's what this discussion is, to bring it to the surface, guys. To get all our brains thinking again, get the dust off our brains, and let's it's one guy thinking, but now I've got all my friends out there, so now we're we're getting the dust off brain, and I do go back and review all this stuff. Best EDC is Victorinox Spirit X Victorinox Explorer. You can add on Nipper Cobra 150 to make it it's perfect. We still have a great knife for split X. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. It's a Greek veteran. Hey, man, thanks for coming on tonight. But hey, if you want to throw a link up there, Greek, throw a link up for everybody can find it fast what we're talking about on that Spirit X Victorinox. Appreciate it. You guys throw your links in there because we'll all be looking at them after the show. What about a pocket belt for first aid? That's kind of what we're discussing on that. Trying to figure out what hangs on the pocket, what can go in the back, and then cover it. I mean, the cats, they're kind of big and bulky. I mean, James Bender had a cat, Maxpedition, fit that cat perfect on the outside of his backpack. I thought, what a wonderful, because that, you don't need to be digging in your pack. I'm digging in my pack. If you want to put any piece of kit out to the weather, it'd be that cat hanging on my haversack somewhere. It's got to be protected, but it's got to be able to rip open and go. This is the cat, after talking to Dan, is probably the most important piece of gear you can carry for safety. The rest of it, we can sew up, doctor up, straighten it up, splint it up, but bleeding has got to be done right now. So I'm learning. Guys, I do listen. I do read a lot. Trying to teach this old dog some new tricks. I usually tote a cat in my pocket. I'm not toting a full kit person every minute of the day, my truck will be close enough. And I'm with you that, Todd. I mean, how many times we don't, be away from our truck or within a short distance from our trucks. Huh. There you go. Tom Ritter says 9mm mag pouch fits a cat and some extra. That's cool. But you guys see where I'm going with? I mean, because I told you I don't like discussing what's going on in the news, but I'm going to mention it. It's Afghanistan. You've seen all them Afghanistan people running for their lives. Probably don't have access to half the stuff I carry on my belt. And their laws over there are very strict about what they carry. But they got caught with their pants down. And now they're running for their safety. They couldn't get to their house. They couldn't get to their vehicles. They're just fearing for their life. That's what I'm getting at. Man, most of you guys on this channel are, are a lot more experienced than that. We all know that. We carry a lot of stuff with us. But I just wanted to rehash, if we get caught with our pants down, I know we can get to the truck. I know I can get to my truck. I've got enough gear sitting in here. It's crazy. Jonathan, I had to run from my ex-wife. Go get him, Jonathan. So, how can we break down that kit? I'm going to have to look on the internet, start searching for a small kit, but it's got to be a good kit. It's got to be the right kit. You got to find the balancing, what works. I was thinking about the pocket belt inside the belt, not a pocket that straps to the belt, but built into the belt. I know Wazoo puts out a belt like that you can stuff stuff in there. I didn't care for the belt. It's a good belt, don't get me wrong. I just didn't care for it. I like the leather. That's just me. But yeah, Wazoo gear is good stuff. But yeah, I want to look into that, because if we could put it's the cat system's big, but the rest of it would be, Tom, like a money belt, correct. But the rest of it would be, your Band-Aids. I mean, are you really going to carry sutures and suture somebody up in the field? You might have to, but it's going to be unsterilized and stuff like that. I mean, we can usually pack the wound and get you some help, get you up and going. So, your regular headache medicines and stuff like that. Maybe back up, where people on high blood pressure pills, and maybe a set of pills in there for 1 or 2 days in this belt. Jonathan, he has his own right now every day. Put a small PSK together. Personal survival kit. Okay. I don't know if I guess you would call it a survival kit. I mean, this is every day. I carry this every day. And if it gets too bulky, we're not going to carry it. If it stays, if the pouch is so big, everybody's like, why is he carrying that pouch? You know what I'm saying? It's like crazy. Yep. Crazy glue and blood frost strips. Agreed, Tom, on that. And that's what we got to talk about. And this whole kit can go on for days on what knives we carry and why we carry them. But I think does everybody agree with me on that probably our kits, the number one is going to be our med kit? I know it all has got to go together, but I think that's going to be one of my top priority, of this kit that I've got to refocus on. Oh, okay. I have mine on the back of my belt kit, my belt bag. So I think that's what we're talking about. And I was going to rely on you guys for, talking about that. What do you guys carry? What do you guys carry every day? And we got to exclude the haversacks, the backpacks, and what's in our truck. What do you carry every day on your person? You're at work, you're going to Walmart, you're going, here, you're going to go out to dinner. What do you guys carry every day? And that's kind of what I was looking at. Because if we're caught, I hate using scenarios and stuff like that, but we're in a restaurant and all of a sudden, I hate even using the words, a mass shooter and it's happening right there and you went out the back door where your truck and your haversack's all in your truck, but you're getting out of there because you've got to go now. That's what I'm talking about. Is there enough? You put on an Army IFK on your belt for stop the bleed. It will have cat pressure, dressing, compact, press scalds, etc. And I agree with you. How big is that kit, Tom? You know what I'm saying? And I've seen Trapper Dan's ankle kit. It's a nice kit. It's an excellent kit. And I'm going to have to really look into one of them to reduce it down, like we were talking about. I want to get on the internet and do some research on that. I didn't today. I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't want to research this because I want to rely on you guys to help me. And then, because if I've been on the internet, I already like that kit. I like that kit. I don't. I want to leave my brain open for the suggestions, what I was looking at. Jonathan, might be a small tool pouch. Chisels fit one cargo pants pocket, maybe 4 to 5 items, grab and go. That would be pretty handy. Small toolkit. Can like running the water petcocks. To open up the water faucet. That's one thing I do not have. I've seen it in a lot of survival classes. But if I needed fresh water in a pinch to rinse a wound out or rinse a wound out, or get somebody some water for shock, cool them down. You know what I'm saying? Where I know this is going to be an endless deal how big this could get, but we're trying to what's the best of the whole world and come down. We could probably spend 2 hours or 2 days on just knives. What's the best EDC knife or survival knife? Well, that opens up a realm. 4x6, I'd say. Yeah. Tom says I wouldn't trust pre-made kits. I have a few kits, and they're so generic. And the problem with the pre-made kit that I've got gifted, they're actually sitting there. One of them's brand new, has never been opened. It's the old saying is is that kit? I would rather have that kit than nothing. But is that these pre-made kits are not that quality of gear? We have to pick and choose. Now, the guy down there at Waypoint Survival, the class I took, we were doing sutures. He was a medic from Vietnam, 70-some years old. He was in the medical field all his life. He gave a great presentation. And he actually gave me a quick kit that you bought off the internet for suturing and stuff. I couldn't believe it. It was everything we got from Tractor Supply or off the internet. And yeah, it's a little bit advanced, but I've got the book on it and everything. But like I said, when I looked at it, the kit's, it's a nice kit and we added to it. And this guy took it out of his own pocket. I tried to pay him for the kit. He said, man, they're internet kits, but we just had to add what I see on them. But it's still, will it fit my cargo pants? I don't think so. It's just that much bigger. But it's a nice kit. It's going in this bag too. Let me see. Well, thanks for Wazoo. Oops. He didn't know the Wazoo belt didn't exist. Jonathan, put a link up there for him, brother. Help him out. Tom, well, you guys are hitting me. A lot about small kits, but it isn't going to cover everything. I know, Tom, and that's where I'm on the fence at. I want my CAT system with me. I think that's super primary, but we can get too small and lose it, or we could get too bulky and then I'm not going to carry it every day. I'm the first one if it gets to be a hassle carrying it. Wintertime be easy because I've always got a heavy coat on, my heavy vest. It's easy to carry that. Summertime with shorts and stuff like that kit's going to be left on the table. I'm sorry, man. I'm just that way. And that's why, we got to look at this. Chris, hey, Chris, I do carry a basic 49 small first aid kit, flashlight, water, and extra jacket. Phone and wallet, of course. Beyond that, it was getting too cumbersome. That's where I'm getting at. You've seen everything I carried, man. And that takes me 5 minutes to put everything through the loop on the belt and load up and go. James, Trapper Dan, James Yeager. Ventilated operator's kit is pretty nice for a pre-made one, about the size of a pocket. Huh. Uh, that's good. We're gonna have to find a link to that, Trapper Dan. Hey, my dad's on there. Hey, Dad. Uh, wearing an ankle holster with shorts should be stylish. Only Jonathan would say that. Man, I got two on, dude. Look at this. I'm not a prepper. And most people know me and say that's a monitoring device. He got caught. He finally got caught. Oh, that's funny. Uh, an army cravat will cover what a cat will and load out material on to boot. And I can drop the cat and then, man, I can't remember. It's the rubber band tourniquet. That thing is small. That's what I'm talking about. I forgot about that. It's actually in this kit. It's a rubber band. You can crank it down. It's real thick. It's made for tourniquets. That's going in my small kit. I'm going to get another one and then put it in the small kit. Now, thanks to Trapper Dan for that. I carry Leatherman, Swiss Army tool, Swiss Army knife, bandana, big lighter, small ferro rod, and fixed blade knife called the Hawk Badger, made by Mike Ware. I know Mike. I personally know Mike Ware. Does a good job. Hey, Gary. I didn't say hey, Gary. Yeah, you guys give me a list of what you guys are carrying every day. I'll go through the list. Just tell me, it doesn't have to be in super detail, but just give you ideas what everybody's carrying. Yeah, Tom Ritter's slingshot tubing do the same thing. I think the tubing, it'll work. Anything will work in a pinch. It's better not having nothing. Remember that. But I like that the band that I got off Trapper Dan because it's a wide band. And you can crank it, man. You can crank it big time. And I like it because it's a fire resource. You can make slingshot bands out of it if you had to, whatever. But Trapper Dan's right there. He can help me out on if I'm right or not on that situation. I am not the medic, guys. I mean, I have, because I work for the state of Ohio, I've seen people burn to death. I've seen them where we jumped on, stopped bleeding, protect them, drug them out of cars because the cars was on fire. It was crazy. You work on the highway long enough, you get to see a lot of stuff. I never panicked on that stuff. I actually physically got hit by a pickup moving 70 mile an hour, hit my vehicle. And, pieces of parts should have killed me. I was standing right in front of the headlight. I didn't panic. They told me on the radio I sounded really concerned. The one guy, the whole right side of the van was tore off. He fell out of it, got up and run, blood everywhere, hit a bunch of dope on him, so that's why he took off. But he was tore up. That's it. Sorry, Trapper. I can't remember nothing. It's called SWAT, stretch wrap and tuck tourniquet. It's an excellent little piece of gear, and it's thin. Because, listening to Trapper Dan, listening to him over the years talking, the tourniquet is really high up on priority, man. Really high up, in your med kit. I don't know if I'm right on this, guys, or not, but I'd say it's number one. It's number one because of bleeding. Now, if you got a bullet hole or you run a stick through your lung, you can use your finger and some gauze. I don't know. I'm not a medic. I was just at this class and I learned a lot about that. But it's, talking to Trapper Dan, you cut an artery, you're going to die, and we can lose the limb and save the body. So I really believe, like I said, I'm not the one to give the advice on this, guys. I'm looking for you guys for the advice. But I believe in my common sense that the tourniquet would be number one. With shorts, I only have a Leatherman Wave from Going to the Bush, WCSK, good knife. Leatherman and O-Light. I have multiple ferro rods at all times. One of my shoelaces and hat bands. Good idea. Put it in my hat band. I wear my hat almost every day. Sometimes I also wear a ball hat when I'm in the truck. Good deal. Love the WCSK, TTW, Bushcraft and Outdoors. If you know it, I actually helped work on testing that knife out. It's one of my favorite knives. Pretty proud of that knife. I wear it around town and I get a ton of looks. It's a monster on me. I wear it horizontal carry out front and people just look like, what? Because it's got all the stuff on. But it's actually an easy knife to carry. It's just you get a ton of looks on, when I'm walking around. Oh my God, what's he gonna do with that? So, but I agree with you. I mean, I like the NK. I got showed you the Lutz Skinner. Is it a bushcraft knife? Absolutely not. Pack on flint. Oh, Tiger. She's talking to Tiger. Oh, so okay. We went over a med kit, and that med kit's going to take a lot. I'll call Trapper down. Me and him will figure it out. And when I get it built, I'll bring it back out and we'll talk again about it. Okay. So if we can, let's go ahead and discuss knives. How many people out there carry a sheath knife every day? Not a folder, sheath knife. I'm one. I carry one every day because, like I said, when I worked, I couldn't. It was against the law to even be on the property with that knife. But now that I'm, retired medical, I just go wherever I want to go. I go in hospitals. I go in banks. Nobody says a word to me about it. So it was. So how many out there carry a sheath knife? Hit the comments with that. Todd, not every day. I'm going to see a lot of this because of our jobs, because of state laws. I mean, cops see us and are like freaked out. Some of them freak out. What are you carrying that monster knife with you for? Because this is what I do, SE4, Trapper Dan, SE4 every day, switch to the Nessie most days. I love my Nessie, you know that. The SE4 I've never run. I've had the SE6. SE4 is a little small for me. You can in the bush, but not in town. There you go. See, that's what I bring back. I didn't know he's from Australia, man. Hey, hello. Tickled to death to see you here, man. Tom Ritter, 4x4 pocket on the belt bag, Swiss Army Tanker, 2 Mylarm blankets, 20 yards of bank line, 36 ferrule rod, big lighter, good size, block of fat lighter, gallon plastic bags, matches, emergency ponchos. That's a pretty good kit, man. It's 4x4 pocket on my belt, Swiss Army Trekker. Huh. This is every day. That's the evening, buddy. WW Carry, WC's Firebug. Pam. It's Walker and Vern carry the WC's Firebug, etc. When do you carry the Lark Nessie on my Frontier Valley? When I do carry, it's the Lark, which is the Nessie. I think it's a wonderful knife. I think mine's actually sitting right here. I used to carry that knife every day, guys. And I carry my knives because I design my own knives and I do a lot of skinning. Right here's the actual, if you guys want to take a look at it, this is actually the prototype. This is not exactly what, this is a little bit bigger handle. This one has been this one's not been double stamped. This was a very fast knife to get out. And if you guys look at that knife, it's an AEBL, one of my favorite knives. This sheath was my NK sheath, Stitch Gear Outfitters. You guys can tell I carry my knives. I use them. I actually cut this stitching. That ain't Randy's fault. That's me shoving the wrong knife in the right sheath. This sheath is awful wide. I got a lot of looks with this sheath, but it's a great sheath design. It's a great knife. Actually, I'll admit to it that I had a discussion with William because the original Nessies were just a standard grind, and I told him, put this multi grind on there. And he said, his exact words, it'll never sell. I don't think it'll sell that good. I proved him wrong. So, I mean, it's an excellent knife. And I carried it every day. As soon as I got off work, I put this on my belt every day. So it's a good knife, guys. It's not about the knife per se. They're quality knives out there. It's about the operating, being able to use it. I like having a sheath knife because it's quick and accessible. I don't have to flip it. I know they make tons of good flippers, pocket flippers and stuff like that. And you can get around town a lot easier with them. My dad says, I don't need a knife, I carry a gun. Dad, it's hard to cut something with your gun. You can do it, but just measure 6x4. Tom Ritter said 6x4 on his kit. So 6x4. Not a bad size kit, Tom. I carry a Swiss Army Huntsman or Hunter on the belt. That's a nice knife. Swiss Army Huntsman. That's pretty nice, pretty big. So we kind of covered the knives. I'm kind of getting your feedback to see what you guys run. You guys told me a lot about the multi-tools and how many multi-tools format out there. Who knows, man? Hundreds of thousands. I don't know, man. I showed you what I carried on that. I think everybody should carry a multi-tool. Working on a trap line, straightening traps. We're always bending metal, adjusting pan tensions, cutting wire. It's just endless, man, what I can use my multi-tool for. I've been carrying a multi-tool since probably, like when they first come out. Saul put one out in like 94 or something like that. I was so fascinated with them because I was a mechanic at the time, and I just went crazy with them because every time you just need to pull a pin or you couldn't get your hand on it, you had to go back to your toolbox. I just fell in love with them. And working a trap line, I don't know how I would go without a pair of pliers anymore. Pliers, and I probably use the pliers 90% of the time on that thing. Let me see. Hey, Dan, super glue. Yeah, Eric, we were talking about that. Super glue does work. And when I was down there, James Bender's on that class, that guy was a medic. He said, there's no difference between super glue you buy at the store and what they use in the medical field. He said, they'll tell you different, but it's not true. Says, why is a good kitchen knife? Knives have 3 pins in the full tang, and a camp knife only has 2 usually. Well, that's depending on the knife, man. A lot of them do it decorative. The pins on the old stuff is what held the handles on. But with today's epoxies and stuff, they put pins in them for decoration. The pins really don't have, the epoxy so strong that they're probably stronger than the pins in the knife. So I don't know why. A lot of these bushcraft knives are designed to be beat and batoned with, so the epoxy's on is really tough, man. Dan, I carry an SA Huntsman, a small first aid kit, and an Outwards 10. And I thought about the Outwards 10, William. I did. I just don't think it's enough. I know the Band-Aids and stuff like that. I have my Outwards 10 that's on my SK. It does have the Band-Aids in it and some very small kits, a little bit of iodine in there. But I don't think it's enough. I know it sounds I'm trying to get this balanced out. And can we do it where let's go cargo pocket size? It's got to fit in a cargo pocket. Because I think every pair of pants I got is cargo pockets. I don't know how I can wear a pair of pants without cargo pockets, because especially in winter, stuffing gloves, hats, whatever. We stuff a lot in there. Tom says, don't forget a cat is designed to stop bleeding. Anything can do that. Moved on me. It will all kill tissue around the tourniquet sites. About 36 bank line will work. And that we had a discussion on that, Tom, about the bank line. If that's all you got, that's what you use, man. It's harder on the tissue, and it's harder to pinch the artery down, from what I understand, with the thinner cords. If you have a wider band, you got more chance of collapsing in that. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, man. And I know a little bit more about knives than I do about the medical field on this. So, like I said, I'm not the guy to be talking. I'm just asking questions for you guys. Pam says, Vernon and I carry shade folder every. I guess one is always ask him why I always had a knife. And since they knew he had it, they wanted to borrow it. You're right. And I don't like loaning my knives out. I do if I know you and stuff like that. I was in construction. I could not believe all the guys in construction. They would almost stop the project down because they couldn't cut anything. And it was amazing. I'd walk up, well, let me see your knife. You ain't touching my knife. I cut it. And they go, how sharp is that knife? I said, sharp enough to do the job, guys. I said, you're a man. It's time to step up and carry a knife every day. Oh, I just lose them. But whatever. A man should be carrying a knife. I said it. There you go. And women. Sorry about that. But you understand my point. Tom says, Dan, I'm going to be covering a blowout kit on my channel next week. Tom, get your plug in there on your channel, brother. Tell everybody we got a channel going up. So that's good. Put a link up there where your channel's at, man. We can pass it. We'll be watching it. Tom Ritter said, maybe don't know 4 years of medic. I don't understand it. Here's Trapper Dan. You want a 2-inch width on your makeshift tourniquets. There you go. And, I'm learning about this, but I do trust Trapper Dan's because he is highly trained and he's continuously training for advanced situations. Let's put it that way. Okay. So I'm really trusting his judgment on this. I mean, he's constantly trading, constantly upgrading. And like I said, he's in advanced because of the situations, so I'm trusting him on this stuff. I mean, if that's all you got to do something, man, to try to save a life. If not, you're going to lose them guaranteed. So 58 still carry old school, but never so reliable buck 110 growing up on a farm. Here in Ohio, the first buck 110 was a rite of passage. You ain't lying there. I did a video on my first buck 110 I just got. I never could afford one. You should look at that video. You probably did, Buckeye Bushcrafter. William, how about a small sewing kit? I do carry one of them in this kit. I carry one in my SK in the outdoors tent. I do believe there's a possible for that. I mean, like if you're fleeing, you're going to have to wrap the wound up and go. You got caught on a fence, you ripped your arm open, man, pack it and go, dude. And we can stop, put super glue, stitch it up, stitch your clothes up if you rip your shirt, when we got time to do that. Blade collector, yeah, it's unbelievable construction site. Nobody carried a knife, dude. I was so shocked. All these guys, big construction guys, they worked their butt off everywhere, and nobody carries a knife. Blew my mind. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know how. Short for special forces. Okay. Let me see. I'm catching up here. Special Forces medic 4 years. Good deal, man. Okay, Tom. So you've got the experience, man. So that's what we need. That's why I'm here with you guys, man. We're all talking this stuff to bring it to daylight, man. Bring it up. I mean, I sit around and watch the news. I don't want to get political, but, it just made me think, can I drop my hat and go? My truck's always got stuff in it. I mean, I can camp out in what's just in the back of my cab. I can do a couple nights pretty easy. I carry MREs underneath the seat and stuff. But if I can't get to them, I know I'm harping on that, but I want to keep you guys focused on what is on this, because sometimes we don't carry it all. How many times have we carried stuff? I just go to Walmart. The wife needs a gallon of milk. Got my flip-flop and shorts out in a snowstorm. I see it sitting in front of Walmart. You see it all the time. So, Hammerhound, construction workers have a utility knife, and they should, but a lot of them didn't. I could not believe it. But yeah, you should. I mean, they're cutting all kinds of stuff, cutting straps off material and stuff coming in. Assistant, you'll be in mild shock and probably won't be able to. You're right, Tom. I mean, if you hurt yourself bad, but if you get hurt, you can doctor yourself. Yeah, you're going to go into shock. But these people are fleeing for their lives. At one time they're going to run out of room and stop. They can't go any farther. And so hopefully there'll be other people around, to help you out. Just stop the bleeding, slow it down, get going. Leatherman, Blake Collector said Leatherman Wave. And I've seen a lot. I've never owned a Leatherman. I take it back. I owned one and I broke it. I broke it probably the first week I had it. That's when they first come out. I know the Wave got a lot of good reviews on the Wave. And a Chris-free folder, I don't know what that is. But it's a slip joint. That's cool, man. I used to use a slip joint or a folder in my right front pocket with the clip, but being a mechanic and being a hunter, I lost a few knives because going through the brush and stuff, it'll grab that little clip. I used to have to take it and put it in my pocket because you wouldn't think you could ever grab that clip, and then my knife would be gone. I backtracked through the snow one day and found it. It was a Kershaw folder. I couldn't believe that some little limb reached in there and pulled that out of my pocket. But I was hunting this deer. I shot this deer. We was on the blood trail. They go through the thickest spot. I went through there. Lucky I got up to the deer. Hey, where's my knife at? And it was gone. But it wasn't that far back. I'm just saying I've experienced that twice in my life where limbs grabbed hold of it. That's basically why I quit carrying, to be honest with you. Graybeard Green Beret. I met him once. Had a vid on stitching up wound, duct tape around the wound, and pulling the skin. Yes, and we tried that technique down there, man. And that technique worked. You take 2 pieces of duct tape and then basically sew the duct tape and pull the wound together. It does work. It's a good deal. 5 packs of sugar duct tape slaps fast tape run. 5 packs of sugar duct tape dump sugar in and slap tape run. I guess what you're saying, using the sugar like a blood clotting agent? Huh. I don't know. But yeah, we tried to, and even that medic down there, he says, we didn't suture people in the field. I mean, he was in Vietnam. He's seen action. He does have PTSD. He has cancer now from Agent Orange that he's working on. And he talked in the field, it was just stabilize, grab them, and go. And he says, we were highly protected. When we went into the field, there was always people protecting them because they were the ones fixing the guys that are hurt. And they knew if they got shot, they needed that guy to help them. And so he was telling me these kind of stories without getting into too much detail. But it's all about, hey, man, stop the bleeding and go. If they got 2 broke legs, you take them. We don't care about the pain. You go. You get them out of the area. And, if you got 2 blown off legs, you turn them up and get them out of the harm's way. It's interesting to hear a medic who has, and like Tom was just talking about, he was a medic, hearing them stories of how they could patch somebody up fast and just stabilize them to get them back out of the field. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. I don't want to be, doing that stuff, Tom, we did have 100-mile-an-hour taping the field up, wound together, together for medevac. And that's what I'm talking about. It was interesting to hear the people who've been through that field. I was kind of, shocked because I did watch that movie. The guy saved all them lives. I can't remember the name of the movie now, but, he just kept going back and forth, running. And, basically, I hate to use the term duct taping these guys up. They didn't have duct tape back then, but patching them up just to get them out of the field. So it was interesting. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Maybe you had you're leaving the restaurant and a plate glass explodes, and you got cut up. You still get out of the field, but when you get there, oh crap, you're leaking pretty good. We need to fix you. And that's the kit I'm talking about. And I would love to have my big kit with me. Don't get me wrong. In fact, I'd love to have 14 doctors around me at the time. But we're just talking about, I got caught with my pants down. I got caught away from my truck. I got caught away from, my supply chain. Yeah, stop the bleeding, call 911. You're right, Todd. That's what I'm talking about. Do we have enough to do that? Okay, I got pressure on the wound, man. I ain't using a dirty handkerchief. I ain't using a dirty shirt. Do I have just enough to pack it, hold it, and get on the phone? Somebody get a 911 in there, But man, you need to run water to expand plasma so the shock don't kill them. And we talked about the shock down there. It was crazy. I agree with you. But I mean, if we look at this kit we're talking about, it would be a backpack, and it would be nice to have that. Duct tape sticks to blood, sweat, and tears. It sounds like hillbilly, but it works better than a lot of medical tapes. And you're right. What was on my lighter, guys? I was building. My other lighter was getting low, and there, it's pretty thick. There's a lot of tape on there, and we all know what duct tape's for. I mean, it's for 10,000 wheel. If I can pack a gauze fort and wrap it around, pull it tight, and go, man. that's kind of what I wanted to talk about the EDC. I know I'm harping on that. I keep saying that, but I'm trying to keep us pigeonholed in one small thing. And I found, when I went over my kit today, my kit's inadequate because of the medical side of it. I don't know why. I've always been in the woods, man. I've always got hurt in the woods, cutting yourself, playing with knives. Yeah, I carry my kit with me, bandage myself up. Don't really think nothing about it. But I never went into, like you'd run a stick, into your chest and get your lung. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to fix you out there. I just need to stop it, stop the blood loss and go. I mean, today we all carrying cell phones with us. We're out running around. You fall down on a sharp stick, it cuts you pretty bad. We just need to stop that and get the helicopter in, That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, any man can pack a wound. Infection can be handled later. You're right. And we kind of talked about that, the antibiotics. But I remember talking to Trapper Dan about shoving your finger in the hole, packing it. If it is an accidental shooting, you're out hunting. And, God knows it happens. We hear about it every year. Somebody took a bullet, or an arrow. I've heard guys been shot with arrows. One of the guys in Southern Ohio was killed because of a dumb hunter shooting at a pair of legs right before daylight with a crossbow, where he hit the guy in the back of both of his knees. The arrow sliced both of his knees and his back. That guy bled out and died. 2 tourniquets might have saved that guy's life. He might have lost his legs, but who cares? He's still been alive. I remember reading that story. I want to choke that guy. What are you doing shooting at dark at 2 legs walking through the brush? All you can see is 2 legs. Going to shoot him in the legs. I was pretty upset about that story. But people are people, that. Pam, a few wraps of saran wrap to slow bleeding down. Yeah, and it would be a compression too. Chest seal, Todd said. I hope I found a new set of skills. Saran works on chest seal as well. Yeah, we talked about it. Was kind of interesting what we talked about. The whole he was using the saran wrap, but he only put 3 pieces of duct tape and let the bottom out. It's almost like a valve. It would blow out to push the air out, but it would seal back the hole. And that's just enough to stabilize them and get their butt to the daggone hospital. It was interesting. I encourage everybody to take this class. And I'll be the first one. I've neglected these classes. I've been to a lot of these survival classes, and I've always neglected the medical stuff. I got other things to do. I'm busy. And I want to change that. You'll see me at classes. I will be. If I'm not putting on the class at the time, I will be at the medical class. Just keep renewing. And I'm willing to admit that, guys. Whatever, man. I pull fish and hooks out, but we're talking something. I've never been that hurt. I mean, we got hurt at work. Plenty of people around us. But it makes me think, the older I get, the worse I walk, and I struggle to get up down hills, and it's easy to fall. So trying to keep up on these comments a little bit. Leave a stick in or to bleed. Don't pull it out. Anything stuck in you. I've heard that, Tom. Just leave it in. Stabilize it, wrap it up. I do carry a horse galls in there. I've carried that for years for strains and pains. But you could wrap that stick or whatever object sticking out of them, stabilize it for not in there poking around too much and get their butt to the hospital. I did read that. Unloaded, landed on a broadhead, almost bled out before he got back to the road and the EMS got there. Man, that's bad, dude. Fall on your broadhead. I always cover my broadheads up, man. I did fall out of a tree stand. I fell asleep. Now, we got to go back 30 years ago. Homemade tree stands. We didn't have seats in them. They were made out of aluminum. I welded them together. They were just a platform. We climbed up with screw and spikes or whatever we had. I actually fell asleep holding my bow. I was holding a recurve bow with an arrow knocked in it. And I felt myself nod. And I was like, man, I've been up all night. I got there right as daylight was getting out. As soon as I got off work, come about noon, I was starting to dot off, not seeing nothing. And I can remember reaching out, to catch myself from leaning over. And the only thing I could think of was pitch the bow. I was only about 9 or 10 feet off the ground. I wasn't that high, but it was enough to put the thump on me. So, I mean, I knew to get rid of that bow. But yeah, I mean, it scared the crap out of me. I've never fell asleep in a tree stand unless it's my tree lounge, and that's on purpose now because I trust it. Marlar, anything. Air can't get through will stop chest wounds. Leave a stick out the bottom of the release the buildup air, or release the air buildup. That's what he was talking about on the, I told him how he used, it's like a valve. They just put duct tape on 3 sides of the wound and the bottom for any drainage and everything. And when a patient sucks in, it sucks in, lets them get air through their mouth. But if there's any air in between the lung and the and your rib cage, it'll let it blow out. Any fluid blows out. So that was kind of a neat idea. Same thing with Marlar. You can use that. And guys, I mean, we could talk about sucking chest wounds, but I'm not the guy to talk about it. I mean, I got guys out here, Trapper Dan, we had a good show on that. What he uses and stuff like that. And we can rehash that. I want to kind of stay focused on, how small the kid is and is it proficient enough. I hate even think about, but mass shootings. If you're involved in a mass shooting and you're not hit, do you got just enough on you to slow it down? I mean, I was watching a medic on the Boston Marathon bombing, and they couldn't believe how many tourniquets was there and how many limbs they did save, from the people having tourniquets around there. So it's kind of interesting. Been a chest seal to leave the edge untaped. Yeah. You guys know this stuff, man. But yeah, a piece of saran wrap could be, we got duct tape, saran wrap. That'll all, go small in your kit. I guess it said that we know how to use our camping kits and such, but it comes down to build a kit and learn how to use it to its full potential. And I think you're right, Tom. I think that's what I wanted to discuss is bring up this, not just a medical kit, but the kit we carry on us. Guys, I ain't never an arm's length with my haversack. It's sitting right next to me. I mean, my wife calls it a purse, because I carry it everywhere. I throw it in her car and stuff. But every survival situation starts with, well, I didn't call. I went over here. It just happens that way. Or I just drove my truck back here and buried it full drive. It's only a mile back to the road. I was only about a mile from my truck when I fell in, guys. You want to see my kit? I carry a ton of fire kit. The fastest fire in the world's in my thing. So that's what I'm talking about. I hate to say this, I'll admit it, we all get lazy. We're all in a hurry. I just got to run in there and back, and now you're stuck in the back of Walmart or back of a store. You can't get out the front. Something went down. We have tornadoes in here, man, like crazy. By the time in the tornado in 2000, the front of Walmart, this lady, was a good story. She was interviewing on the news. She was walking in to Walmart and somebody yelled at her and told her there's a tornado coming. So she took off running to the entrance. The tornado wind in front of it picked her up and was doing about 30 mile an hour into Walmart. And she said, I want to die because all the glass doors, everything, it's going to smash right into them. She said, before I got there, it all blew out. And she went flying back and she ended up almost to the back of the store. She was basically unhurt. The wind blew out the stuff. She was just minor scratches. But if you got to fix somebody who was hurt in that situation, the communications, they shut down Xenia from power. Then they shut down the communications because we had a tower go down. And my cell phone was dead. I was in my personal vehicle picking up my daughter. The church was leveled in there. I got her and my nephew. I went back over to where my nephew lived, dropped him off in my personal vehicle. My cell phone went off, which was an old Nextel to a walkie-talkie. I was on the emergency response team in Xenia. They sent us out. I got home. At that time, I had a mobile truck repair service. I was a diesel mechanic, and I fixed trucks. only way I could talk was CB radios, and that's going to be next week's discussion, is the communication on this. But we'll get into that later. But you understand it took hours for that communications to get out. So this kit needs to be, your belt kit needs to be designed, you know, because the tornado shut all our response systems down. They couldn't even talk to each other. So now if you're hurt in the back of Walmart, yeah, hopefully you got good people around you. We're going to stop any glass, stuff like that, get you out until the ambulances get there. That's what I'm getting at, guys. And I've seen it. I've seen these fast, this storm in 2000, 2001, I think it was 2001, when an F4 Xenia come through Xenia, the radar never picked it up. In fact, they changed the radar unit because the tornado followed the beam around. They don't have a signature at all of this tornado from radar. That's how fast. They estimated speed about 70 miles an hour across the ground. So I hate using scenarios, but that's what we got to look at. I'm stuck in the back of Walmart because it just blew in on me. Can I do some triage, man? Helping people out, maybe stop my bleeding and go on. So, how many times you guys been in Walmart? I keep using Walmart, any store without your haversack on. I don't carry it in there. Let me see here. I got to catch up here. Previous planning prevents. Let me see. Hammerhound, there's guys can answer that better than I can, but this is, do you placed a wound side down for a sucking chest wound? Yeah, it needs to leak. That's where you put the vent at. That's what I know. Previous planning prevents poor performance. Just thinking this stuff out ahead and having plan helps immensely. And you're right, Dark Knight. 2 years ago, I went hunting. Tom Ritter. 2 years ago, I went hunting. Forgot my kit, small kit. Not only rained on me in February, but I almost got nailed. A tree got blown down over barn. Never again. And you're right. Lessons learned. I like Dark Timber's previous planning. Guys, we're not putting together a kit today. We're discussing, and I believe if we keep this stuff on top in our brains, it helps us think when we're at someplace. Oh man, I need to get that. I got to put that kit in there. And I forgot about it. I got to get that. I think that's what these discussions are for. It's all about discussions, man. Old bullets cauterize that if you need your last resort. That'd be a bad one, Eric, but it can be done. Hammerhand, I'm not sure I understand. Could you rephrase that? Trapper Dan will at you. Hammerhand sitting his best. Poor performance. Prior preparation press, poor performance. Air Force here. And you guys right, and I'm going to go back to that. I think these discussions are to keep us thinking. We get complacent. Everybody here works, got jobs, got kids. We all like building our kits and stuff, but I'm just as guilty as I take something out of my kit. I'm going to put this new thing in and never did it. I bought it, never put it back in my kit because other things come up. And that's why I like these discussions, because this is about you guys. It ain't just about me. I'm the talking head that's on the tube, but it's we need to talk and keep this stuff alive. I thought it was a good talking point on if you get caught with your pants down, and that's preferably pants down, put that way. You always find a situation where you see different use for your gear. You're right. Your gear should be a reflection of multi-use. Dave Canterbury started that. Morris Kohansky started that. I don't believe there's one tool option. I don't believe in that. I worked on the WCSK. I spent almost 9 months of my life on that knife, testing, retesting, helping on the design of that knife. That knife does a wonderful job, but it does not, cover everything. It would be hard to use that as a detail knife. Can it be done? Yes, anything can be done, but we should look at our kit for multiple reasons. Each item should have multiple uses, like my belt. like I said, this is Lutz's Leathercraft. I had all the holes in it. Well, okay. It's not the best tourniquet out there, but it's not only for that. It's what if I needed to carry a bunch, I'm down by the river, but the only place I got a really good place to sleep is over here, but all my wood's over there. I would rather camp next to there, but maybe that's all marsh or something. That's not a good place to set up at. But I can take my belt off, take a piece of paracord. You don't have to wrap the paracord around your body, guys. 2 belt loops and pull. Hold your pants up. Use your belt. Carry your brush. Carry stuff out. The belt's got a lot more use term. I mean, helping somebody up a cliff, muddy bank out of the river. Slide your belt off, drop your gear, throw it over. It gives them a handhold. Yeah, it's 3 foot long. I mean, mine's a little longer than usual, but it shouldn't be. But you with me on that? I mean, it should have a reflection on that. I watched for kits everywhere. I have the book on 1978, like 3 different kits in there. That's a good book. I should have brought that kit in for my truck. It's a new kit that I just got off down there. Huh. Doing good, Jamie. It says mobile couldn't do comments. That's good. At least you're on here now, man. But that's what I'm thinking. Your kit should reflect. I mean, look, simple Bic lighter. How many uses? There's a guitar pick stuck in there. How many uses can I use on that? People forget if you're dead in the woods and it's pitch dark and there's no moon out and you're lost and you hear the chopper going on, it's a search chopper. You know how bright that spark would be. That's a signaling device, guys. Hold it up in the air and just get out to the field. The human eye will pick that up. It's way brighter than the actual flame. So, I mean, how much uses can we go on a Bic lighter? Wrapped with tape and stuff. Multiple uses. Everything's got to reflect on multiple uses. If you have something in your kit that's a one deal, other than a bandage, you're only going to use it once, try to stop bleeding, get rid of it. But you should always be thinking of that. I do. I catch up. Dark idea. I use 550 cord for boot laces. I tried that, but I had to take the inner cords out to make them hold on that. No one mentioned the use of clothing as a source of a kit. No, and you're right. Is that part of our kit? If we have another shirt on, can we make a sling because he dislocated a shoulder? In my kit, I've got a new, and I'll go over that kit probably next week now. There's a piece of material in there that the guy gave me. Super lightweight, super durable, but it's for slings and stuff like that. But we do need to have a piece of cloth in there, just to even clean up, after the fact. Hammerhouse says 40 years of training is way out of date. And I'm glad you said that, man, because we to try to stay current in this. And we all know, I hate to see wars, but the best thing out of wars that happen is in the medical field. If anything good comes out of a war, it's the medical field. We learn how to work on people and do open heart surgery and stuff like that out of these wars. So don't want to see them, but it doesn't come up. It comes out like that. We catch up here. We talk about the clothing. I was trained. First aid training was sucking chest wound. Hey, you put plastic wrap against the wound and put the victim on her side, wound down. And I think that's close, but we can bring Trapper Dan in there to ask on that. Like I said, I didn't want to get too in depth on actual procedures on this stuff. Hey, Dan, don't breathe. That guitar pick, some man will knock you out. Will knock you out. It will too. That's very hazardous stuff, but it's a good trick. It's a little fire extender, and it don't weigh nothing. But you just don't want to breathe it. It's some nasty stuff. You're right. Dark Knight says, your first line of clothing. Well, if you look at all the critters, they've all got fur coats and stuff. This is our first line of defense. I cannot tell you how many times I've been plowing snow and somebody's in the ditch and they're out there screaming, waving their arms. I just rolled my car. Stop. I need help. And I look down, they got flip flops and shorts on. And I'm talking 15 inches of snow, 5 below zero, 30 below zero because 40-mile-an-hour winds, and they've got flip flops and shorts on. It's called natural order selection in my book. But you've got to. I like wintertime and fall because I've got my coat on. If I got my coat with me or it's on me, I'm usually carrying a lot more stuff with me. In fact, you probably put on my winter coat. And it's like Christmas morning, the first day when I pull my first heavy coat out, because I'm like, oh, I forgot I had that. So I got to take an inventory of all the crap I've got in my pockets. Let me see. Let's love crowd. Yeah, it'll work better if I remove child safety glass. You ain't lying there, man. Them things, that was sad they put that on. I need to pop that off. I forgot to do it. Good job. Hammer, we were told at least 45 degrees. I was thinking I had baby food jars of dried and crushed plantain and yard in my kit. Might look for smaller vials. But plantain is a fantastic plant. I have on hand. You're right, Jamie. I mean, it's a healing thing. That's kind of after the fact, what we're talking about. But you're right. I carry a lot of stuff like that with me. I make my own salves and I still learn about salves. I researched a new plant today, in fact. Recovery position. Explain, Todd. I've lost it. Trapper down, hammer hand. We just use a recovery position on their side. Okay. Wound side doesn't much matter anymore since they could have a wound on each side, entrance and exit. There you go. Trapper Dan is the expert. Well, there's a couple experts in this room, but I know Trapper Dan. I know his training. It's as current as current can be. So Hacksaw Ridge. There you go, Will. Thank you, man. Hacksaw Ridge, excellent movie, true story. You should read about that guy. He didn't want to fight in the war, but he saved a bunch of people. And how he did it, who knows? But to stabilize them and to get them, I mean, he was a medic. So wonderful movie. But it kind of shows you what I don't think the medics get the credit. I mean, you bad dude in the military, you're in a fight and you're a bad dude. We all know our soldiers, man. We honored our soldiers. Anybody takes a knee on my soldiers is not a friend of mine. But I'm sure them soldiers, when they got hit, the best thing they looked at is that med guy looking down in his face said, we got you, brother. You're going to make it. So, we got to give them boys credit. Anybody's medic, man. Them guys, and they're going to stand there and work on you when everybody else is shooting. Takes a special kind of person to do that, man. Yarrow, septic stops bleeding. Throwing some power yellow and power will stop the wall of bleeding. You're right. You're absolutely right. They do have chemicals and stuff. Today's kits are will do a lot better job than the Yarrow, but it will work in a pinch. Dark Zeus saved 75 plus people. How do you thank him, man? How do you thank that guy? Hanging a medal on him? Of course you do, but that don't mean nothing. I bet you every one of them guys he pulled off that hill thanked him. We're talking about a bad dude here, man. That was anti-war. He was a conscientious objector. He did not want to fight, did not carry a gun. But wow, and how do you remember we're talking about we just gotten shocked by a tornado, whatever. We can talk scenarios all we want to, but now you had to have the mindset to do this, to not panic and do that. That's a whole another topic on that, trying to keep your stuff going. I've been in the situations working on the highway and pulled a guy out of a wheelchair that was T-boned with semi, pinched into the wall. And everybody thought it was on fire. It was his antifreeze at the semi. But it was odd trying to get a guy out of a wheelchair, but the wheelchair was locked into the track, guys. Who trains for that? the guy's locked. I'm thinking, just pull a wheelchair out. I didn't know they locked into the track before he can drive. Well, makes sense to me now after the fact. But, we got to get that guy out. I mean, there's boiling antifreeze dumping on the guy, and everybody thought it was fuel. And I jumped in there. I said, ain't fuel, man. I can smell it's antifreeze. And so we're all pulling this guy out, which he was paraplegic, I mean, he couldn't get out on his own. But who trains for that? Your mind just got to go like crazy, man. Tom, he probably wouldn't want thanks. I agree with you on that. He saved some enemy war soldiers too. I did hear that. He saved everybody. He didn't care. William Cruz, I'm catching back up. He wouldn't shoot anyone, but he saved dozens back and forth through the fire. You ain't kidding, man. I mean, you can use female tampons for obvious bullet holes. I've heard that. I'm not sure. I'm sure it'd work because it'll swell up, if you got a bullet hole. And remember, I mean, everybody says, if you don't have a firearm, I'll go down to a spear or sharp stick. A sharp stick beats nothing. If that's what you have, a tampon, it beats nothing. You're trying to stop the bleeding. And I don't really think you're going to worry about infection and your hands being clean if you got to stick your finger in that hole. They can worry about the infection with antibiotics later. But, talking to Dan, and we had him on there for 2 hours one night and talking about, shoving stuff in that hole, man, packing it tight. It's going to be very uncomfortable. They're not going to like that tourniquet. They're going to be screaming at you. But it's about saving their life, not the limb, the life. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. I've really focused in on my kids a little bit better. And with what's going on out there right now, really got me thinking, wow, man, I can't carry everything in my kit. I know like Dan does, Trapper Dan does, because that's his job. He can carry it every day. So we're working on that. It says, there you go, Trapper Dan says, the tampon thing is an unfortunate myth. They're designed to absorb, not to clot. Don't use tampons, not enough material. It really packs wound. There you go. No tampons. See, I'm learning. I've always heard that on tampons packing. I mean, I think if that's the only thing you got, use what you got. You got your T-shirt, you got everything. The clotting is very important, but we've got to stop the bleeding. They have chemical treatment that prevents clotting. Don't use them for wound packing. There you go. See, I mean, it comes down to, we can't go over the scenarios, guys. There's trillions of scenarios. I believe you're going to have to think fast on your feet. You're going to use what you got, but it would make life a lot easier if you had like a 4x4, or 5x5 that fits in your cargo pocket, that kit. How much easier it would be with that kit than not having the kit. So that's why I'm trying to build this kit. I'm trying to see what I want. And I'll be talking to Trapper Dan over, when he gets time. You call me when you get time because I don't know his schedule, but to really condense this kit, but to make it real close to survival. And it might be a little bit bulkier, getting text on my phone. Yeah, you carry the rest in your truck. You're right. I mean, the truck's there, man. The truck is, of course. I mean, I've got a nice med kit in there. I've got a nice med kit, like I said, thanks to Trapper Dan, right here in the top of my bag. Zipper right there, man. Pound the zipper and open it up. Look, my fire kit's right on top. That's amazing, ain't it? But here's my med kit. Here's my tourniquets and stuff. I like James Bender's idea of having that Maxpedition little kit because it's sealed in the CAT system, but it was external. I still have to dig through this to get that. And when we're talking a bleed like that, seconds is going to count, guys. So I'm rethinking my kit, how to set it up. But I want to protect my CAT system too. I don't need it out in the elements. You know what I'm saying? I don't need it packed full of mud and going through the brush with this thing. I've left this thing out in the pouring rain. I mean, we've done it. Waypoint Survival out in James, and I left it hanging in the tree. I mean, it was right next to me, and I forgot it was there. And it's wax canvas. Didn't hurt a thing. Nothing got in the wet. But we got to protect that. So I'm really thinking about this stuff. There you go. Tom said they'll send a video over next week. Like I said, Tom, put your link up there to your YouTube channel, man. Or what's your YouTube channel name? Just put that up there. Because I know we cover a lot of stuff in this territory, and I can't cover everything, so I got to go back and look at these videos, to see what, see the information and the links. That's why I ask you guys to put your links up. Jonathan Frisbee or my brother's on there. He'll put a link up for me. And that way I can go back and focus and then study what I like and don't like. Oh, you did. I'm sorry, Tom. I must have missed it. It's Tom Ritter. Well, that's easy enough, man. Tom Ritter channel. We'll get you, man. That's what I said. I don't mind sharing. I know this. I went over to YouTube, guys, to help my YouTube channel build up. I really appreciate that. I've been getting better at editing, putting stuff up. This helps my viewership for I could get monetized. Hopefully, eventually, I'll get monetized, make a little bit of money doing this stuff on my videos. That's why I switched over to this. I think it's a good platform for this. I think in this time and day of what's going on in the world, I think these channels are doing very good. I'm going to give Jamie Burley a shout out. I missed him. He does a show on Tuesday, and I missed it. I actually forgot all about it, but I mean, he's another one that we need to feed on. We need to share these views, guys. And I know you guys all do that, but when you see this on YouTube, give me a thumbs up on it. It helps the channel out, but also share it because this is a ton of knowledge. I get a lot of good experts on here when we're talking plant life and stuff like that. I want to share the knowledge. Not all of us can go to a survival school. Not all of us can afford it. Not all of us can get the time off, and it's just, 3 or 4 days I'll be going to Central Ohio Bushcraft. I plan for that way out because of that. But it's sharing the knowledge. And I think you guys, talking to you guys know the myths and stuff like that. We need to stick on that, man. It says, I was told that rolls or folded stacked sterile gauze and ace bandage are the best first aid and items for novice. And I agree with that. I carry, it's called horse wrap. You can buy it at a Tractor Supply Center. You can get it in all different colors. You see it on the legs of horses. I haven't used an ace bandage in 25 years when that stuff come out, 20 years ago. Because it's self-seal. You can wrap it and it sticks to itself. You don't have to use clips or try to tie it off or anything. Just wrap it. And it'll pull tight. I used it on this wrist when I was hunting my dogs. I had 3 dogs, Rhodesian Ridgebacks, hooked a lead. We would walk in the woods, and when I'd kick up a coyote, I'd let them go. Well, we walked within 5 foot of these deer, and I don't know why the deer stayed bedded that tight. And I mean, the dogs I was going through a fence row and run right into them. And the dogs jumped so hard that it pulled me off my feet, and the first thing it hit was my wrist. Well, it kind of separated these bones. There's 2 bones in your wrist. Just pulled them apart. Man, I thought it dislocated it. Went to the chiropractor. He popped it right back, got it working. And he was the one that showed me that horse wrap, pulled it down. And I said, I could shower with it on. It wasn't like an ace bandage. And that pulled them together, left it on there about 3 days and felt really good. So just another story that's when I learned that stuff. And I've carried it in my pack ever since. There's a roller in that pack. If you want to, put a compression on there and wrap that stuff, it'll pull tight, almost like a tourniquet if you really crank it down. But yeah, you're right. The sterile gauzes and anything to slow the bleeding down. I'm not telling you suture anybody and doctor them up out there. It's just to slow the bleeding down or stop it and get their butt out of the problem. Now you can buy self-sealing wrap. But yeah, that's why I'm encouraging Trapper Dan to have his own class on this stuff. But he won't be at Central Ohio Bushcraft this year, and makes me sad. But it would because I love talking to the guys who are the experts in their field on this. I'll admit down the chain on that. You want to talk traffic? Let's get it on. Let's talk about medical field. No. So that's where that's why I said, what else do you think we need? We've really hammered on this kit. I think we hammered on it because I think everybody agrees it's probably our number one piece of kit. Because you can't get out of the fight and you can't build fires if you're cut and bleeding, if you're injured really bad. So, horse wrap, using the pine pitch. Pine pitch is also an antiseptic. We can do that. But in my neighborhood, I don't have a ton of pines. I do in my yard, but out in my woods, I don't have that. But it's sad. That's Trapper. That's his work, man. I ain't gonna get into technical details, but he's got to work. He can't get out of it. So it made me sad. But it was, when I talked to him about, like I said, go back to Facebook on my channel, pull up that and watch 2 hours of Trapper Dan. He was a guest on there, and he goes over his whole entire kit, guys. It's worth the rewatch on that. And I don't even get credit for that because it's on Facebook, but it's worth the rewatch on that because it was such a good class. Because his knowledge, I want to learn from the guy who's up to date learning, because like I said, war is hell. Yes, we know that, but out of war comes up to date new techniques for bullet holes and punctures and, missing pieces and parts, you know what I'm saying? So, and because of his field, and even like paramedics, they're constantly learning because the new techniques come out to save people's lives. It's bad. So, what other part of kit? I want to bring up this. How important is a flashlight with you guys? I kind of really quick on this, but I see a lot of guys that I work with didn't have any light on. And if it gets dark on us, this is also a tactical light. I don't want to blind you guys. Well, let me shut it back off. But this thing has a major strobe on it. Well, if I can get it on, I'm trying to do this without blinding you guys, but you can see it. That strobe light will hit at nighttime, hit their pupils and actually lock it up. It's 950 lumens, which actually can hurt the retinas. But it also, I noticed, messes with wild animals. Nocturnal animals, because they see it dark, cannot handle any strobe. I did this accidentally on my goats years and years and years ago. And they would freak out with strobe lights because of the reaction with eyes. So if we're talking bear country or mountain lion country, you hit that with that strobe, it's going to really hurt him. And it does the same thing in people if we have to get away or evade. So I believe, the flashlight is very important. Like I said, it's also got a glass breaker, if you did get submerged in the water. But to me, I'd use this on somebody's forehead, just to get away. But I've never been questioned in a bank or anywhere about having this flashlight. And there's two major things. Now, this flashlight does go down in use, for, if you just want to really got to break it down. You can see how low it is, when you're got to see at night, I believe everybody, and this stays on my belt. This is 100% waterproof. It's been totally soaked. I never worry about it being out in the water, the elements. This one has the 1, 2, 3 batteries in it. Hard to find good batteries for it because it takes a lot of power. But I think it's one of our uses all the time. I was a mechanic. I got used to carrying a flashlight. The older you get, our eyes aren't that good. I use this thing getting in my hammock with my headlamp or looking for my headlamp. Usually I'm using this to find my headlamp. It's crazy. But I believe this has to be attached to our person all the time. This is not a kit device. This is the belt device we're talking about. This is a part of my kit that's every day. And if you guys can see it, you can see the wear on it. This thing is not, you can see the wear that this thing just gets beat up. This is actually my second one. I still own the original. I want that one because it's brighter. Let me catch up here. I know Todd uses flashlight every day. I know Jonathan uses flashlight. Too bad you can't save all the Facebook chats to YouTube. Jonathan, I think I can. I think I can go back and reload them, but I'm not sure. I have 2 flashlights with me all the time. So John says, crap, got to go check my laundry. I think I'll watch one of those lights. Where'd it go, John? At least you had it on you. I carry a small LED on my keychain and about 3 more larger in my truck. That would get you by, that small one. I don't know what it is. I don't know how much life it is. Streamlight makes a nice little pen light. I've got it on my SK. Great rod. Run, John, run. Says my truck is my EDC. You ain't kidding. Tom Ritter, 2500 lumen light. I've tried and hit you, you're blind, you make you dizzy on strobe. You ain't kidding, man. I'm telling you, it's not, it's great for people. That's why my wife carries one. She can't carry a firearm in the store. But, walking out, it's right there on the purse, you just hit them. It's just enough to delay and get away. But like I said, it also works on critters, especially critters that run at night, which most of them do. So I think it's invaluable. Picking splinters out. I mean, I wear glasses now. I used to have killer vision. And, I now need to put a little extra light, on picking a splinter out. You don't know, like in the Xenia tornado, I mean, you've got glass particles in you. They stripped, all the lights went out. And that tornado hit in the daytime, and within an hour it was dark. So, it was right before dark that tornado hit. So how valuable was that flashlight in Walmart trying to get out? I believe that's part of your kit that you have to have on you, not in your bag, on you. We're talking stuff that's on you. And it's another signaling device. That strobe light, whoo, man, you talk about seeing that strobe light at nighttime with no power on in Xenia. We found it not worse yet. It's a no light, man. It ain't gonna hurt it no worse. If it does, buy a Power Tech. The coons here hate me. Yeah. But it was, I believe that's one of the items on the kit that's a must, is the flashlight. And I don't know if I said that because I'm older, but I started carrying them when I became a mechanic, because even in the daylight, you can't see certain things back underneath the truck and underneath the truck and stuff, So that's what I, wanted to cover on that one. I think the kit I showed you, my kit, is a must. The firearm can be adjusted and changed, and I run a small firearm. I've gotten a lot of flack for, I'm as big as I am, carrying a 380. Well, that's a discussion, man. We could do 2 hours on ballistics on the 380. A lot of guys are 45 guys and all this stuff, but if you really break down the ammunition, and 380 is the only caliber that has 100% fatality rate in personal defense. Something to think about. Now, remember, we're talking personal defense. It's up close and personal. We're not trying to shoot a guy at 15, 20 yards. We called them belly guns back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. Up close and personal. So, and I truly believe the smaller the gun, they can't see it coming. You pull out a big stainless steel 45, 1911, they can see it coming. That little bitty black gun, it's going to be, leave me alone, pal. And that's what it's going to be. So I believe, the 380 is a viable gun. Now, we can talk ballistics and everything like this. We can get into detail on that. But I believe a small firearm, and I got cargo shorts on, it's hard to carry concealed in the dead of summer. So, it's like, yeah. See you, Todd, man. Thanks for coming on, brother. But so that's, we can get in a whole conversation, but how viable is that, that little pistol with you? Well, in the Xenia tornado would have been viable at all. Not until after the fact we started running the looters. But right after the storm, it's a useless tool I would be carrying. I mean, because I was worried about saving my daughter and get my truck up there. getting town oriented. Now with that, I was told to patrol the town because my service truck had all these lights on the side, had the strobe lights on it. So we were riding around Xenia. It's weird, eerie, man, pitch dark, no power. They were parking police cars at like the gas stations and the banks. And they had a few of us patrolling because the cops were all laid back. I run into 3 guys, all in black hoodies, and they just robbed the jewelry store. They broke the front glass out. And I thought they were coming right at me. I thought, oh, crap. I didn't know they did that. I just seen 3 black guys, too suspicious. And out of nowhere, all these cops come up and tackled them. I was cracking up. They were within 25 feet of my truck. And I thought, man, I'm holding on to my pistols. Now, I had a couple pistols in there. But that was after the fact. Now the pistol becomes one of my primary kits that I needed. But right after the storm, I didn't need it. It was still daylight. We were still running around, stuff like that. You see where I'm getting at with this? I'm going to get some comments on this one, man. No one in the right mind will take it challenge. 390 is 9mm. Well, it's 380. Yeah, Europeans call 9mm short. That's what we call them. I carry 9mm everywhere I go, at least 2 knives. I know you do, Bo. Dan, I've ever, what's that? I can't. Let me see. Nice dot for 20 years. I understand what you're coming from. I have seen B. I don't understand, Eric. I don't know what that is. My gun fits my front pockets, hold 12 rounds. That's Bo. I love my 22 or 25 or 22 Tomcat. 8 needs to use it at distance of 8. When quick caught, the distance I need to use them stingers are fun. Yeah. We're talking up close and personal, but okay, let's say, if we change the scenario, we went from a tornado to a full-blown shooting. How valuable is that pistol now? They might be far from you, but they're shooting your direction. At least turn their head, keep their head pinned down, give you time. We can talk tactics all we want, but you see how fast I just changed your kit on priority on your kit. Now the gun went to priority, and now your med kit's coming in second. So they're all valuable. They're all one kit. They're all one piece, is what I'm saying. They all work hand in hand with each other. Like I said, the gun didn't work right after the tornado. It was useless. I needed medical stuff. I needed communications. All the cell phones went down. I remember jumping in my service truck. I was running a Uniden that's been peaked and tuned and all quality stuff. Killer antenna, 102-inch whip on my service truck, and a 400-watt linear. Guess what? I was talking over the ham guys because that Uniden was a ham converted. It's called per clip. But then I could talk to the ham guys. That was the only communication we had in Xenia. So now how important was that radio over my med kit? It's all got to be one kit, I don't know, man. Caliber is not a point placement, but put the bullet where it needs to be. You're right, Pam. It's all about placement, not caliber. What gram do you use? I actually use a light. I think it's 95 grain in my 380. I have to check on it, but I think it's 90. And I use a hard ball. I don't use a hollow point. 9mm or 380 does not have the velocity on the harder hollow points to expand it. There's hundreds of videos on this, guys. And you don't need it. We're looking because we're running a lighter load. I'd rather have the penetration than I would expansion, if that makes sense to you guys. I mean, we could get into this, and I'll get Pam, I'll get Vern on there. Vern knows his stuff about this stuff. Nice dot is what New York's ODOT. Am I right? I don't know. I have not a New York. I see what it is. Okay, I'm with you, Eric. I'm with you on that. Sorry, man. I didn't catch that first night. I work for ODOT. You think I'd have caught on to that? That's New York, Ohio of Transportation. Yeah, it sucks. I've seen a lot of nasty stuff on the highway. Some stuff we tried when the lady was burning to death, There's a semi laying on its side, just come off the overpass, went down on the road. It turned sideways, landed this. The fuel tank was ruptured by a parapet wall. She was screaming in the cab. Diesel fuel was running. I don't mean to be graphic, but I mean, I run up there, and a police officer, he's just on the scene as fast as I was. He got there probably about 1/1000th of a second faster than I did. Everything's in slow motion. He hit it with a fire extinguisher out of the vehicle. It didn't do nothing, that diesel fuel, guys. And I can remember being a trapper just thinking, let me borrow your gun a minute. I really did have that thought cross my mind. Just done. I hate to say that, but, I mean, it was just a sad way of going. I hate to be graphic, but when you're standing there and your hands are tied, there's nothing else I could have done. That's what affected me the most, because I'm usually a fixer. I can fix a lot of stuff, but I couldn't fix that. And I'll tell you what, after the fact, it come out, my buddy was hauling water behind her, watched the whole thing. He was on the phone with me when he watched her crash. And she was all because of her cell phone. She was texting, and she drove a semi flatbed, hit the guardrail parapet wall off the top. She was talking to her husband when she died. Kind of good lesson on the cell phones, guys. Put them down, while you're talking. Don't mean to get on that craze, but I've seen a lot of things like that. That was when they invented the. What was that? You got me on that, William. It's going too fast. I use hollow points. I do use a lot of hollow points in other firearms. OB style. Yeah, I quit abbreviating, man. Carrying 357, 158 horse, 22 stingers, 25 use, critical defense, 35 grain. Yeah, critical defense is good ammo, buddy. 380 last resort project for me. For a gunfight, I'll get shotgun, close mag, fed rifles, large capacity mags. I'm a firm believer in the shotgun in my house, my trucks. I think it's the best defense weapon, period. It goes hand in hand with the shotgun, but we're talking about stuff we've got to have on us, guys. I have the same thoughts. All right, man. We'll see you, brother. Distance doesn't change firearm requirements, change skill requirement. You're right. It does. And if I can get out of a firefight because I'm a civilian, if I can all by means get my family and me out of the firefight, I will do so. Just don't let them turn it back on me. Yeah, let's leathercraft. Love my DRT. I do too. That's what's the name of it? The real name, Direct Dynamic Research Technologies, I think it is. We call it dead right there. Probably some of the best ammo I've ever tested in my life is DRT. I still even don't carry my 380. Bo, I try not to. And I know when I'm out plinking, man, I'll shoot hard balls, don't care what it is, just having a good time. But when I'm using my carry gun to shoot, make sure everything's working on it, I'm using the exact same ammo. Don't care the cost now, because what's the cost when you need it? If I'm using 90, a lighter weight bullet, I can't just pick on the 380. But for plinking, and then I go to a heavy hollow point, and now it will throw your accuracy off. Up close, it doesn't matter. Far away, 7 yards could be a factor. So yeah, shoot, run what you brung. That's what we used to say. If you're going to run hollow points for self-defense, that's what you shoot. You don't have to. You out there plinking 9mm, man. Use hardball. Just shoot stuff across the field. You're having a good time. But when you go to use your carry gun, that's the gun you're going to carry. Practice what you got. All right, guys. Got to be in group safe. God bless. See you, Tom, man. Thanks for coming on, brother. I use a HP 9mm carry gun due to fears of over penetration. Over penetration is kind of crazy, man. The state of Ohio says you're obligated, you are responsible for the projectile where it goes. In a self-defense deal, and I'm using my 465 inch, I think it'll overpenetrate. My firm's on 9mm. It does go through the body. It's all situations where it hits. It can hit bone. It can hit shoulder. I've seen a lot of them stop. A lot of 9mm stop. The reports I said, but there is a factor of overpenetration because you're responsible if it goes through. You're defending yourself 100% from a mugger, guys trying to slash with a knife, and you shoot and it goes through the window and kills a little kid. That's going to be a weird one, but the odds of that happening is very low. So it cannot be done. Anything can be done. It's possible. So yeah, I don't worry so much about overpenetration. Usually because you're going to be on the ground with this guy anyway. 150 grain special duty hollow points. Dwayne. And that is 155 grain in what, Dwayne? 9mm? No, maybe. I got to get back in my books. I can't remember a lot of stuff. I'm trying to read this. I got a box of hardball and hollow points so I can actually carry either one. Back when I was training in Tactical Training Center, we used to stagger. We stagger hardball and hollow point. And you're like, what? Well, we were doing a lot of entries, a lot of home entries or building entries, mainly homes. And they were using hard, real wooden doors, not these cheap ones in today's houses that are hollow core. And what we found is punching hollow points through them. The hollow point hole plugs up and doesn't expand anyway. So we were experimenting back that. And this is going back in the 80s, guys, maybe 84, 85. And that's what we was using. We was using hardballs to penetrate the doors, and we were staggering, hollow point, and we were trying all that stuff. And was it a factor? We didn't see the expansion, but you put a couple hardballs in somebody's chest, they're hard to come back from that, man. So that's some of the testing I've seen on hollow points. They don't expand. Some clothes and leather jackets can plug the hole of hollow points and not let them penetrate. One of my favorite channels I run is, oh man, come on. Daggone it. He talks all this stuff. He's out west, man, a little short guy. Wears the same clothes all the time. I know who he is. Sorry about that, guys. I was thinking about his name and lost it. But he talks about all this stuff. He's very knowledgeable on firearms. And he actually breaks down a lot of shootings and stuff went on. See, William, man, thanks for joining us, man. Well, Dan, you said for a gunfight, measuring your patrolling and protection at the times. Keeps moving on me. When hostility likely. You said for a gunfight, meaning you're patrolling or protecting at this time when you hostility likely. Yeah. I think I understand what you said a gunfight. I don't know how you want to talk about that. Yeah, and I agree with you, Jonathan. I jumped around. If you're in a crowded place and somebody else is shooting and you're shooting back, over penetration, I don't know if I'd worry about the over penetration much as missing. Dwayne just 45 auto. Guys, for the beginning of my life, I was a 45 auto fan. My test and my studies versus 9mm, I'd rather run 9mm. Now, that's a whole different discussion. We could go over all this stuff. Self-protection is where you carry because you should be prepared, but hostility not likely. Yeah, there you go. I understand. It's the old Boy Scout motto, guys. Always be prepared. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I pray to God that my gun will rush up before I ever have to use it on another human being. That's a fact, guys. But guess what? Sometimes you got to sell your cloak to buy a sword. So, it's a tool. It's no different. My firearm, I see no difference between this flashlight, this and this knife, the other knife I carry. I see no difference. They're all a tool to part of my kit. Have I used a gun other than in self-defense? Well, yeah, I use them on a trap line, but let's take that out of it. Well, for instance, my buddy hauled a water truck, and they put a new box on that truck where the pump was in, and it was so sealed, but water was getting into it. So he pulled his 45 out and blew a hole in the bottom. I don't recommend that, but it never did fill up full of water after that. He blew a hole in the bottom. So could it be classified as a tool? Yeah, I guess so. I've seen it done. I wouldn't have done it, but shooting right inside a box like that. I've seen some crazy stuff, man. And that's why I said, self-protect, it's a tool. It's better than a sharp stick. I'll give you that. I mean, do I want to shoot a 400-pound black bear with a 380? No, but it's still better than having a sharp stick. He's just going to have to get close and put one right between his eye or right down his throat. I'm not going to try to shoot him in the side because you ain't going to do nothing to him. Hickok 45, that's one of them. The other guy is, I'll think about it here in a minute. And I use frangible rounds in the house. I use frangible rounds all the time. Love them. I think they're really good. If you're in a gunfight with a 6-shot 380, you should be running away. Number one, hammerhound, I will be running, and I don't run fast at all. If there's a gunfight starting, I don't want to be in one. The difference is being stay really calm. And I'm going to tell you something right now. That 380 I run is a tack driving machine. If I can turn, get cover, and turn, I'll put one square in your forehead. That's what it comes down to. That's your practice. That's your training. Remain calm and do your job. I don't want to get into a big tactical situation on this channel, but I run this Ruger 380. In fact, when my buddy shot it, I was shooting a 4x4 post at about 60 yards and put 6 rounds in the top of the post. And he said, there's no way that little gun can do that. Well, that's the shooter behind the gun. Plus, they fixed everything on the LCP2. It's got an amazing trigger in it. Now they just brought out the max. You can get up to 12 rounds in the 380. I'm not a big round carrier. I don't carry an extra mag for that gun. If you look at statistically on private shooters, which are very hard to find because the cops don't like talking about this. The government doesn't like talking about self-defense shootings and what saved you. Most of the time, it's 1 or 2 rounds fired. That's it. You see these drive-by going through the house. That's not a confrontation shooting. When it goes head-to-head, most does, and if somebody doesn't die in the first round fired, usually nobody does. That's the true statistic. I watched a guy 5 years ago up here. They had a Nike shoe sales going on. Man, it was crowded everybody. These 2 little kids behind him had the money to buy shoes, pulled a gun, and the guy was taking his shoes. He pulled his gun out, shot the kid right in the mouth, killed him instantly. 1 shot. The other kid boogied. They tried the other kid for murder and got him because he was in a commission of a crime. But if we really look and really break down I'm talking civilian firefights. You see the cops on TV, man. You got 30 cops put 2,000 rounds in a van. I mean, come on, guys. But I'm talking in that situation, it's very odd. I just thought it was Paul Sellers. No, not Paul Sellers. His name's, I'll think of the guy. And he talks about how many rounds to carry. In a firefight, would I like to have 100 rounds? Absolutely. I'd like to have a lot better gun. If he's 100 yards away, well, I'd rather have a rifle. But it's all about these scenarios, and we can compound this stuff. But I'm talking about up and personal belly guns. You go back to the Saturday night specials of the 60s and 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Why do you think they outlawed the Saturday night specials? They were up in personal guns. They were 25, 22. It was 22 ain't big enough. It ain't big enough. I heard a guy at a gun store said that thing will bounce off me. I told that guy, I said, put your leather coat on, walk out there 200 yards. Let me get my Marlins 60, and I'll put one right between your shoulder blades, and that stinger will go right through him. So I'm telling you, you can't see you, Steven. Thanks for coming, man. Man, I'm actually over time, guys. Did I miss the pocket dump? Yeah, dirt time. It was at the beginning. Go back and watch it, dude. We got it on a tangent. I didn't realize the time. I thought you guys were supposed to be keeping an eye on me, man. Sorry about that, guys, man. But it's I've had a blast. It kind of went fast tonight. I really appreciate every one of you stopping by, man. We're going to continue this show. If you guys want to, let me get a med kit built and we'll talk about it. I want to bring up, I know you guys on here from last week. I know guys are jumping on and off. I want to tell you guys that I got a lot of emails from you guys. I'm shipping them Blackie. We're doing a lot of discussions on the R&D bag. So just give us time on that. You guys got a ton of good suggestions. We just had to put them in the pot, man, and let them stew, see what we can do. Some manufacturing problems, stuff like that. We're not done with the R&D, guys. So I forgot to bring that up at the beginning of the show. But it's, I want to, guys, I remember we've got to, right here, I just put it across the thing. We got to say a prayer for our first responders before we go to bed. You guys know that's kind of a rule on this channel, and it doesn't take you 5 minutes to say a prayer for our first responders, people in front, police officers, fire people, and say a prayer about the people over there. It's going through a lot of stuff, man. So I want to say get that through there. I'm going to jump on my comments really bad. John Frisbee always goes fast. What self-defense ammo would you recommend? 38 special with 2-inch. Guys, we can continue this over. The 38s I don't deal with too much because I run 9mm, which is really close to a 38. Get online. My best thing is do your research, guys. Do your personal research. What load you want for the size of barrel you got, what gun you can. My forte is I do the rounds that I like to do. We can talk 460 Smith. I've studied it for years. But we'll continue this conversation next week if you want to. Next week, I want to talk communications, power down communications. So guys, do your homework. We're talking cheap stuff. We're not talking about thousands and thousands of dollars of stuff. How do we get by? Now we're in our car. Now we've got our pack and stuff like that. Now we need to talk, communication. How are we going to communicate when they shut down the cell phones? So that's going to be a good show. Hope to see you guys there. Everybody be safe out there. If you can do it, 1 or 2 rounds, you're just bringing the guy that killed you. You're just providing ammo for the guy that killed you. That's a good one, Pam. Guys, thanks a lot, man. I can't believe it went over 2 hours like it went fast, guys. Appreciate every one of you. Thanks for everything you guys do for me, man. And I will see you next Tuesday, God willing, next Thursday, 7 p.m. We're going to talk about communications. I will post that probably tonight and let it run. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you on the other side, man. Bye.